Good morning. It's a little bit chilly and breezy up at the allotment this morning. I think we'll maybe forecast for some rain tonight and tomorrow, which will be quite good. Means I don't have to water again. Well, we're at that time of year at the allotment where really all the hard work's done for now, and it's just a case of sitting and watching the grass grow, or the potatoes grow, or the tomatoes, or whatever. Anyway, we haven't shown you anything of the allotment this year really so far, but we'll give you a little tour now and show you what we've got going on. I'll show you these first because I'm so happy with them. There's been like a junk pile at the end of the allotments where there was some old houses that got knocked down in the past, and there was these two old metal buckets which were kind of welded together with old cement, and Kenny knocked them apart and chipped the cement out and painted them, and then I've got them planted up with cornflowers and cosmos and stuff, so I'm hoping they're going to look lovely later on. I've got a nice little sunflower there. Anyway, I'll take you on a little tour around the allotment now and show you what's happening. This is the very back of our allotment. This is like the boundary fence. So last year I had Jerusalem artichokes in this spot, and there's still, you can never get rid of them, and there's still ones coming up. There's a one. Anyway, I've put peas in this year. They didn't do very well at first. Something was nibbling at them, and I don't quite know what. And when I was putting down beer traps, I think it's like a mischievous crow or a magpie comes and lifts the beer trap out and flings it across the garden. So they don't work here, unfortunately, unless I've got it netted. I've also put beetroot in a row along the front, but they don't look very well, so they maybe be alright. And that is a squash of some sort I had lying around. I can't remember what it is. Some sort of squash. So that was just kind of an extra little border. It was wasted space, so I thought I might as well use it. The soil in that isn't very good there, so it might have limited success, but we'll see. This is the pond you might have seen. The video that we put out of making the pond. Was it at the beginning of this year or the end of last year? I can't quite remember. In the winter anyway, I remember. We put it in primarily so that we could encourage frogs into the allotment, which would eat the slugs. We brought some frog spawn up from our pond in the garden when that came out, and we put it in, and we have got tadpoles in here, which are getting really big now. So yeah, we should get some frogs from that. I'm quite pleased with how it's coming along. Obviously you can still see the plastic and that round the edge, which I hate, but you know, ponds are things that kind of develop over time, they're not instant. So yeah, it's quite good. I'm quite pleased with it. These are the two compost bins. We managed to get quite a bit of manure for at the end of last year, and I just put it all into the compost bin to rot down because I didn't think it was very well rotted. So this is the one with the manure and loads of other stuff as well, just all mixed in. I turned this a couple of days ago and it's nearly there. It looks great. I'll let you have a look in there. And this one is the one that we've got ongoing at the minute that I'm still putting stuff onto. What I did was I had a comfrey plant elsewhere in the allotment, and it was getting massive. I know they can get quite invasive, so I just cut the whole thing down and I put it on the compost. It seems to have done something miraculous to me compost. The heat coming off it the other day was amazing, which is great. Means it's all rotting down really fast, and it's really reducing much faster now. So I'll just have a little look in that one, and yeah, you can see that's still got a long way to go. We'll take our food scraps from the kitchen up, and I've got some sawdust. My dad volunteers in a boatyard, and he gets sawdust from there, and all the weeds and everything. These are my first earlies. They are Pentland Javelin. They're just growing. It shouldn't be too much longer. I think, I don't know, should only really be another couple of weeks, but they don't show any sign yet of dying back. A couple of flowers on, but that's all. Anyway, I'll just wait and see. Last year we were a bit too keen, and I think we dug our potatoes up a bit soon, and I think these are slightly later than the usual first earlies, so I'll just let them go. I'm very happy with them. They're really healthy and strong. This is my second potato patch. It's the Charlottes. I didn't grow Charlottes last year, and I know they're very, very popular, so I'm looking forward to seeing what these are like. They've got lots of flowers on now. I always feel like they're going to be ready at the same time as the first earlies, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, they're great, just watching them grow. These two borders here, I had my garlic in that border and onions in this one. There's still some onions left in there actually. A lot of my onions bolted again, which I'm not very happy about, but anyway, it's fine, we've got plenty. Happy enough with them. And since we took them up, I've put tomatoes all along the back. Moneymaker and Gardener's Delight. Apparently you can grow them outside, and I did have a couple of plants in last year and they grew, and I got some tomatoes off them. The season here isn't terribly long, so you do struggle to get them to ripen. I've also put a row of beetroot in this one. I have multi-sown them like Charles Dowding method, so I'm going to be taking out there's about 4 per clump, and I'll let the bigger one, I take that out and let the smaller ones grow.
Something's been at them there by the looks of it.
For some reason I'm having a problem with all my beetroot this year. I grew loads last year and it was fantastic. I'm really struggling to get any of my beetroot in any location. Different packets of seeds, I'm struggling to get any of it to grow well, so we'll have to wait and see. Got a squash in there, a couple of squash. They're going to be uchikikuri and turban squash. I've got them all mixed up, so I can't remember which is which. I've also got a couple of nice sunflowers in there and some nasturtiums which are self-seeded from last year. In this border, I'm not sure if you can see, lower down I've got sweet potato in there. I grew sweet potato last year and it had a reasonable crop. What I didn't know was you have to cure sweet potato once you've picked them, and really you see why you're only supposed to really grow them in hot climates, because you've got to cure them at 90 degrees Fahrenheit and really high humidity for several weeks, which is pretty much impossible here. So I wasn't going to grow them again. However, I had grown the slips of last year's sweet potatoes and I had them and I had a space, so I thought, well, I'll put them in and see what happens. And I've also got some new little spinach plants under these plastic bottles here. The slugs were eating them, so I've just put the plastic bottles on to protect them. This is a strawberry bed. Last year I just had strawberries around the outside edge, and I'll just let all the tendril things, the runners, whatever they're called, to go across the whole bed, and now it's absolutely full. I did pull loads of strawberry plants out. Half the family have got strawberries grown in their back gardens now, but I think I probably didn't pull enough out because it's a bit overcrowded. However, we've got lots of strawberries coming, and there's one or two that look like they'll be ready to pick in a day or two, so that's pretty exciting. I hope to get loads of strawberries. did have slugs and mice and what have you eating them last year quite a bit, so we'll see how we'll go. It would be lovely to have enough to make strawberry jam though, wouldn't it? These are my broad beans. They've been great. We're just picking them, you know, every few days at the minute, and they're lovely. I've never really grown broad beans. I even really eaten them much before this, but I'm really happy with them. I'll be doing them every year from now on. I've got masses of peas in here. They're starting to flower. Be a while before we get any proper peas, like, but nice. I'm pleased with them. They're really healthy. Right in between there, I had quite a big gap, so it seemed at the time, and I've put beetroot in there. They're actually the healthiest beetroot I've got, despite the fact that they're right down amongst all the foliage. So I think they might be all right. And then at the front here, I've got spring onions. They were red ones, and I did put some carrots in between, but I've had terrible failure with carrots this year. I've planted them and planted them and planted them. I've kept them moist. They've germinated. They've got to the true leaf stage, and then they just all seem to disappear and die back. So I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, this border looks fabulous. This is really the salad raised border. Actually, next year I'm going to do all my salad at home in the back garden, because it just makes much more practical sense. I usually come to the allotment in the morning, where you don't want the salad until tea time, so I don't want to be picking it in the morning. So next year I'm going to do something else with this. But still, it's lovely. We've got loads of lettuces there. Again, I tried carrots in there, but this was the little patch I had most hope for. They were doing really well. Literally until last time I was up here. Now over half have just disappeared into nothing. Can't understand it. This is spring onions and rocket. This is chard from last year. I've just left it. It's going to flower now, but there's still plenty of leaves on it. Yeah, I didn't really know it would do that. It's quite nice, quite structural in your garden. More lettuces and spinach and chives I've got, and then all around the edges I've put little tomatoes. It's the little cherry tomatoes. Can't remember what type. They just tumble down. They don't grow tall. And I did that last year in the pockets, and it worked quite well. I think that's even a couple of leeks I put in there. I keep planting things in places and forgetting I've put them there. So yeah, I'm happy with this border too. These two beds are the beds that I'm least happy with. I'm not sure whether it's the soil wasn't very good in them. Who knows? I'm just starting out, as I say, with veg growing. It's all a big learning curve. I tried to put mainly brassicas in, and I had them netted. I'll have to put the nets back on. I took them off to weed them out. But the cabbages, mainly the cabbages, are just getting eaten to bits by something. I think it must be slugs, but I've had slug traps down, and the slugs have been going into them. But every new little cabbage plant I put in just gets eaten down to the ground. So I mean, look at that, it's absolutely terrible. So I don't know what to do about that. But anyway, I've got broccoli, I've got leeks. The leeks are doing great. I've got kohlrabi, they are grown. Green cabbage, I think that's red cabbage up there. This one, there's a couple of sprouts in there. I can't even tell which ones there are now. Red cabbage. The parsnips are coming on beautifully. I'm really happy with them. And I've got lots of kale in this one, and the kale's getting all eaten to bits as well, which I'm not very happy about. Anyway, I'll get them netted back up and try again next year. I might get some success, we'll see. These are the French beans. They took a long time last year to come to anything. I think it's just because it's quite chilly up here in the north. I've got a purple variety, I think they were called Blau Hill or something like that. I think mainly that's what's in here. There's some bolotti beans as well. I think they're a dwarf variety. They're just coming along slowly. I think they'll be fine. We've got a massive crop of the purple French beans last year. I've also got some leeks there, which is really a plant that's apart from Wales, Wales is also very famous for growing in the northeast of England. All the old men back in the day used to grow them and go to the shows with their prize leeks, so the leeks should grow well. I didn't grow them last year. Put some more broad beans in there, and my runner beans are at the back, they're coming along alright. But yeah, as I say, it's just that time of year where you're just watering and weeding.